If you take your personal growth seriously, people can have an issue with you presenting yourself as a newly informed version of yourself with new habits, new information, new ways of speaking, new ways of existing in life, ways that are more beneficial to you but different than how they viewed you. When I set out to create this YouTube channel, my real goal and intention here was to kind of create a place for what I wish my younger self had access to. When I was in my early 20s especially, I did not know how to do life at all. And I wish I had someone, especially when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, to kind of guide me along this path. And I don't have any regrets at all because I feel like my journey led me to the point of where I am now. And I am so happy with my life. It's like beyond, like I'm about to cry. I think I'm emotional because like really, I like love my life. And that is like something my younger self would not have been able to imagine. And so I hope these words, these things that I have to share can help you in your journey so you can live a life that you love. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. When I say I was shocked to learn that people don't like me, that people don't have taste. Not everyone is gonna like you, and you are going to waste so much of your time trying to please other people when you can be spending that time living for yourself, trying to please yourself. The moment you decide that you already know enough, that you're already just too mature for this, or you're just like too knowledgeable in this thing, and you just like, you've learned everything that there is to know, that is the moment you are setting yourself up for failure. Because when that inevitable situation arises that presents you with an issue that you have not encountered before, you are going to flounder and flop around. You literally are going to be cutting yourself off from potentially growing. When it comes to self-love, it can look like so many things, but it is something that you always need to be proactively working on. You have to give love to yourself to feel the reception of love. That's the only way you feel it within yourself. I think it's easy to imagine a destination when it comes to self-love, like a finite destination where it's like, I love myself so much, nobody can tell me anything. Like you're perfect in your form of self-love. It's not possible. I don't think any form of love is that finite. You don't need other people to validate your worthiness for you. You do not need other people to affirm the fact that you are a person worthy of love, respect, kindness, and happiness. That is something that you are worthy of because you exist. And that's so easy to forget, especially online when you're comparing yourselves to others, especially when you see like these grandiose displays of wealth. And we often think like, oh, well, we need to be wealthier, we need to be prettier in order to be worthy. That is not true. Maybe society tells us that, but society profits off of us being insecure and feeling unworthy. Remember that. They want you to feel like shit about yourself. They want you to not validate your experience because it's easier for them to sell you things. I am here to tell you, my dear, that you are worthy for just being you. Confidence is not linear. It's not like a one size fits all for everybody. You can be confident, like fully confident in certain areas of your life and then totally unconfident in other areas. I am very confident in my cooking, in my photography abilities, and honestly, even in my physical appearance. But where I'm not confident always in is sometimes my social skills. Like I feel like I can work on that a little bit more. And I'm not always confident in my intelligence, but I still consider myself a very confident person, despite me not being confident in all areas of life. Perfection is the enemy of progress. You cannot grow, you cannot move forward if you are stopping yourself for not being exactly what you think you should be. and like what you think you should be. Like, what is that based on? Is it based on other people? Is it based on their voice, their own like form of talent? Like, you have your own thing going on, a great thing going on, a thing that needs to be worked at and believed in and validated. You will get there eventually, but you have to learn. You have to allow yourself to experience and to do the damn thing so you can learn to get to where you want to go next. Fancy planners, gym memberships, all the shit that you buy to be disciplined, all the shit that you engage in to be disciplined, do not create discipline. They do not. They are a false feeling of accomplishment. Motivation follows action. So take action. What can you do now that gets you closer to your goal without spending money that you can also be consistent with? Start small. Start with things that are attainable within your means, whether that be financial or lifestyle. The truth is, financial freedom feels a lot better than the temporary dopamine hit that buying something does. As a Libra rising Leo stellium, I love material things. I do. I like my home to look nice. I like personal style jewelry. I love things to look pretty. But I have to acknowledge that that is not what truly brings me happiness. And you know how I know that? Because I have been just as depressed as I have been happy in this very beautiful apartment. Material things do not equate happiness. What they do is they provide a very temporary feeling of joy, dopamine, and we kind of get addicted to that. And we convince ourselves that that's what true happiness is. And we live in a very consumer-centric capitalist society. And so it's very easy to compare yourself to people who are very wealthy, who have a lot of material items, and be like, well, they look happy, so that's gonna make me happy. It's just not. It is not. Caring for your items feels so much better than shopping for new ones. If I'm gonna buy something, that means I really have to like it. And the reason being is because I plan to have it for a very long time. I know my tastes, I know what I like, and so I buy only with that intention in mind. And I do find that the less I choose to consume, the more intentional I become. I'm very intentional with my purchases, and that saves me money, that saves me mental energy. I can now invest that energy into living my life, and yeah, it works out. I save money and I like the things that I have. Not everything has to be monetized. Some things I think should just be enjoyed for the sake of enjoying them. Like, you don't have to make money off of everything, just enjoy your hobbies. This kind of goes in with an earlier tip about remaining teachable in life, and I really mean that, because you will set yourself up for failure if you do not educate yourself on these things. I'm talking finances, I am talking politics, I am talking about education in itself. The reason these things are so important is because these things are what make up the fabric of our society, which you are a part of. No matter if you like it or not, you are going to be governed. Those who choose to forget history are doomed to repeat it, and that is a quote for a reason. You can even look at our current political landscape now and see how much of our history is being rewritten, how much education is being stifled. And the reason being is because it is easier to control you if you are uneducated. It is easier to get you to think a certain way about a certain type of person if you are not educated. The system is created to work against you if you are uneducated and if you are in poverty. On both sides. I don't care whether you are a conservative or a liberal or a Democrat or a Republican. I really don't care. If you are in poverty, if you are uneducated, the system is literally designed to keep you there. And it's my belief that if you have any empathy in this world, that if you want to see this world be a better place, gathering resources, and yes, that's money and that's intelligence, is the only way you are going to help people come up with you. If you want to see change in this world, we need kinder, more empathetic people to hold more power in terms of finances and resources. Right now, we have a lot of bad people who hold that power, and that is why they are able to do a lot of the things we see them do. So take it seriously. Reading is a skill that is in itself a form of meditation, and it teaches you so many things not just in terms of what you actually read in the book, but also in terms of delaying gratification, because it's a long process. It takes so much longer to read a full book than it does to watch a movie adaptation of it. It requires your mind to put pieces together, to literally read between the lines and decipher the information that you are reading. It is like a skill for creativity, a skill for knowledge expansion, a skill for discipline and longevity. It is one of the most important skills out there. Keep on reading. Crack open a good book and sit down and read. Sitting in silence is a form of meditation. Focusing on your breath, yoga, that's all forms of meditation. The reason you want to do it is because you need to clear your mind, especially in an age where everybody's always scrolling indefinitely and we always have stimulating things in the background, like movies playing or videos playing or something like that. It is so important to make sure you are allowing silence to enter your mind so you can process the information you're receiving. And if you don't want to meditate, just sit in silence. It will pay off. Clean home aids a clean mind. Okay, as an ADHD girly, oh my gosh, and a girl who deals with chronic depression where I don't leave my bed, I am so much more anxious when my house is a hot mess. When my house is clean, it's just one less thing to worry about. It is one less thing to worry about. Tidiness really does aid a clean mind. I would make Marie Kondo so proud right now by saying that. I'm not always tidy. It's not my natural inclination to be a tidy person, but I've worked really hard on creating systems for myself to try to maintain tidiness because I know the importance of it. I know how it affects me. The more visual clutter you have, the more your brain has to process. And if you're someone who deals with anxiety or depression or anything like that, it really is going to make it harder to snap out of it when you have clutter around you. So try to keep your place clean. You will be so much more grateful for it. And it feels so good to have a clean home to come into and relax. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, honey. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. I love Do Not Disturb. And I love it because I'm low-key a phone addict and I had a TikTok addiction for a while, and that goes for Instagram for the most part. I technically work in marketing and social media, so I have to be to a certain extent on them, but I strictly use it on my work phone and I strictly use it for work. Once work is done, once I'm clocked out, that's it. I am no longer on these apps. And my God, my mind is so much more clear as a result of it. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. It makes the world of a difference. Peace of mind. Doesn't that sound lovely? The less you take care of your body, the more it's going to show up, and it's going to hit you like very quickly. You will be surprised. Take care of your body. Eat well. Work out. Go for a damn walk. Like go on a hot girl walk. I don't feel any hotter now than when I was in my early 20s. In fact, I feel hotter now than when I was in my early 20s. I do, because my confidence is better, my self-compassion, my self-worth are better. There are so many more internal things that now influence the external that make me like the way I look and who I am now that I'm older. I even have gray hairs growing in, like here. I don't know if you can see them. I have like little grays on my sideburns. It's about to look like Paulie from The Sopranos. And I'm not gonna say I'm against Botox or anything. I actually had a little bit of filler on my smile lines. I'm not like totally against it. And I'm not saying I won't do something at some point, like down the line, like who knows? But I'm just saying that like, I don't feel like we should be measuring our aging process up to like very unrealistic expectations of aging. I think there can be a balance with getting certain treatments done, maybe if you want to, if you believe in that. And if you don't, great, honestly. Like I think naturally aging is just as beautiful. And it's something that I feel like you have to figure out how you feel about it. Figure out a way, a version of this process that feels good to you, and let go of all the background noise. Because again, this is your life. That's it. It's your life. It's your aging process. Whatever your hair type is, whether it's curly, whether it's straight, the lengths have a totally different process of care from the scalp. I get like very dandruffy scalps sometimes. So I do like apple cider vinegar rinses. I've noticed like a significant improvement since maintaining my scalp, and my lengths have to be treated totally different than my scalp. I oil my lengths before I shampoo because it limits the damage. I make sure to wear bonnets when I sleep to protect the length. I'm not here to give you a whole hair routine or like talk about that, but I just want to emphasize there is a difference between your scalp health and your length health. Taking care of your teeth is just as important as taking care of your body. Oh my gosh, yes. Whew, I have some dental trauma. Dental pain is something I would not wish on my worst enemy. Oh my gosh. And it's so traumatic too. It's so bizarre because like our society really puts like an emphasis on physical looks and having perfect teeth, like especially in America, but like we also don't ever talk about dental hygiene and like how to properly do it, or like the proper ways to take care of your teeth. And also there is a trauma that comes with dental care, especially very invasive dental care. And let's be real about the financial cost. It costs so much money to get work done on your teeth. Root canals, my implants were super expensive. My veneer was extremely expensive. And I only got this because I like hit my tooth when I was a kid and it discolored it. So I had like a discolored tooth for years because I couldn't afford it at the time. If you take your personal growth seriously, people can have an issue with you presenting yourself as a newly informed version of yourself with new habits, new information, new ways of speaking, new ways of existing in life, ways that are more beneficial to you but different than how they viewed you. And that can cause chaos. I'm someone who's always changing, but I also seek out a lot of personal growth. Like I feel like I make it a point, like it is a personality trait at this point for me to like seek it out and always ponder and reflect. Because of that, I've come into situations in the past where I've had past friends accuse me of being inauthentic or being just different. I've literally been told like, oh, you've changed. I don't know if for the better or for the worse. And honestly, from their perspective, I can kind of see where they're coming from, because it's like I was a specific way for a long time, and here I am now, a new way, abolishing old ways of living that may have included them, that might not now, because they were no longer healthy for me. And so from their perspective, they're probably like, oh my gosh, like, who is this person? I don't know this person. And they don't anymore. You know, I barely know this person. It's new. I'm learning. I'm shifting. I'm evolving. I'm multing. And you can give the person an option of like, hey, do you want to be with me on this new journey where we can learn about each other as we grow? Or do you want to remain friends with that former version of me? Because that version of me doesn't exist. And therefore, that friendship might not exist. And that's normal. If you grow in your life, you are going to outgrow other people who do not grow too. That is just the way the cookie crumbles. I firmly believe you should not take criticism or advice from people's lives you just like would not live yourself. Because it's like, okay, they took their own advice and like, look where it got them. You know what I mean? People love to give unsolicited fucking advice, especially when their life's a hot mess. And a lot of the time people do that because it gives them a sense of control. When people feel like their lives are out of control, instead of like doing the hard work and actually working on themselves or working on their lives, you know what's easier to do? Is to point out the flaws in someone else's life, is to point the finger. It gives you a sense of authority in that moment to be like, hey, you're doing this bad, you're doing this wrong. Versus looking at yourself, which is so much harder because it involves accountability, it involves admitting you were wrong, and it involves changing. So people will do that to you. Don't take it personally, okay? It's projection. Point blank, period. Most of the time it's projection. Total isolation creates an echo chamber. And I think it's important to have a sense of community, whether it's small or really big if you can handle that, because it allows me to not live in an echo chamber of my own mind. I also choose to make friends with people who are not yes men, who are not going to say yes to everything that I think and say, because I know I have blind spots in my life. And being in an echo chamber of your own mind means your blind spots are going to get bigger. You are going to come off like such an asshole if you think you are the only person who knows anything about the world. Like, you don't. The fact is, a whole world, a whole slew of people and perspectives exist outside of you. Do you want to stay isolated in your own bubble where only you hear your own voice talking back to you? I don't think that's a fulfilling life to live. You are truly the sum of the 5 people you are closest with. It's a saying for a reason. It is a saying for a reason. Because it's true. I'll use myself as an example again. One of my goals was to stop gossiping so much. When I had friends who only knew me for the part of me that was like very gossipy, and I tried to like put boundaries up and stop gossiping, it was so hard. So hard to convince them that I wanted to stop. And they would be like, well, everybody gossips. And like, okay, yeah, like everyone really does gossip. Like, let's be real. Everyone gossips. I get it. But I feel like it's causing resentment in me about other people. I feel like it's stopping me from doing it. Like, I had to justify my reasonings for wanting to change. And it's because they already knew me as like that gossiper, as like someone who also gossiped. And nothing was wrong to them. But to me, something was wrong. And I would always fall back into gossiping with them because it was like an active battle. So my point here in this example is to say that no matter what you're trying to change, whether it be gossip, whether it be like getting better with your finances, whatever it be, it is much harder to accomplish and progress if people do not want to see that progress happen. And that's where that like sum of the 5 friends equaling you comes from, because the people you hang out with are inevitably going to influence you. And don't think you're above it. You're a human being. All of us are influenced by the closest people that we are friends with or a part of. And that is because we value them. This one's for my girlies out here. Male validation does not mean shit. It does not mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. A man will hit on a barnacle-covered rock if it had a moist, fleshy hole in it. They would hit on drywall. It also doesn't mean shit when men try to humble you. I remember like on my Instagram reels specifically and my like TikToks on my old TikTok account, I would get so many men telling me that I had like, somebody was like, she has like teeth of like, what is like a witch doctor's necklace? And I had to like Google it. And I was like, what are they talking about? And it was like a necklace that had like, I think like shark teeth on it, all spread out. And I was like, low key, that's hilarious, but like, fuck you. I was also told that like I should burn, like we should burn women alive for being witches again. And I've just been told a few times by men that I should kill myself, that I should die, that I'm ugly, as much as I've been told sometimes by the same men that I'm the most beautiful thing they've ever seen in their life. So I'm just saying, you know, some of them are fragile, okay? Some of them are fragile and some of them are thirsty, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It means nothing. If you're a woman in this world, you're going to be objectified. You are going to be objectified. We're kind of taught to be objectified from a very early age. I remember being young and a grown man telling me like I didn't wear bras yet, but like my boobs started growing a little bit. And he was like looking at my chest, mind you, like I don't have a lot going on here, especially at that age. And he was like, what, you don't wear a bra? Like you go around looking like that, not wearing a bra? I was like 12. Why you, a grown man, would say that to me? I don't know. Everything is that deep. I hate the phrase, it ain't that deep. It is. It is. Everything has nuance. Everything has semantics. Everything has details. I feel like we have like an empathy, compassion, and capacity for depth epidemic in our hands where people just don't have capacity for depth anymore. Philosophy and pondering about life in general, or thinking and self-reflection, are really what has brought humanity to its, you know, highest places. Like everything requires depth. Critical thinking in itself is considering depth, is considering other aspects, other scenarios, other perspectives, weighing out the options in your mind and coming to a conclusion on your own. It is innately deep. Like poetry, art, they all require depth. They all require a specific level of understanding. And to me, depth is just that, it is a deeper level of understanding. The more we can work on ourselves, hold ourselves accountable, the easier it would be for us to accept accountability from others. And a lot of the time we can feel like accountability is us having to admit that we're horrible people, or we have like a lot of shame wrapped around it, which is why so many people avoid it. But really think of it as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to expand. This is kind of similar to a life skill before, but I really want to reiterate it. The more you think you know everything is the moment you admit you know nothing. Arrogance blinds you. That is what it does. It blinds you to new insights, new information, new ways to progress and move forward. Intellectual humility leads to a deeper understanding of everything around you and yourself. So stay curious, stay open. Generation wars are absolutely pointless. The point of the human experience is to evolve, is it not? I am a millennial. I understand the cringe that comes with being one. The truth is, it is inevitable. We're gonna age. We're not gonna be the cool kids anymore. Okay? Like, should that stop you from living your life? No. And I think it's so pointless to fight over it, because it's like, it just shows that if you forget history, it is doomed to repeat itself. Young people, no matter their generation, are always going to be a little entitled, a little arrogant, like they're young. They don't know a lot. They have a ton of blind spots still. They are still learning. And older people are always going to be seen as like outdated and uncool and just like past their prime. This is just the society in which we function. And the more you play into it, the more you're playing into its bullshit toxicity. Like, it really doesn't matter. We are human at the end of the day. We evolve, and older people are part of our history, just as I am part of the history of the future generations. Do not deny the fact that you are going to soon be in the place of the older boomer. Do not deny the fact that you were once the young slacker. There's no point fighting over it. Anyways, that concludes today's video. I hope some of these tips were helpful. I know this was like a kind of rambly, very long video potentially. I've been recording for like 2 hours. My leg is like asleep. And I hope some of these tips and life lessons can help you. Thank you so much for being here. It was so lovely talking to you, and I really do hope to see you in the next one. So have a wonderful day. Bye.